Welcome to Spotlight on Lakewood. I'm Mayor Adam Paul. Today we're continuing our series and taking a look at how things work in the city. We're out on top of South Table Mountain at the Colorado State Patrol's driver training facility. I'm joined by Senior Agent Ty Countryman, one of Lakewood's finest, and we're going to learn a little bit today about what our police agents do to learn all kinds of driving skills. Ty, thanks for having us out today.
You bet, Mayor. Glad you're here.
All right. So share with us a little bit about the importance of this track and what you teach here.
This track is a great facility, as barren as it may look. It's a 1.4 mile road course. It gives us some curves, it gives us some elevation changes. One of the things we want to do up here is we have a controlled setting up here. And it gives us a chance to let them work with the cars, maneuver them, both slow speed, and then we can get up to some higher speed situations. And we want to give them, and we want them to push that car to where if they do spin out up here, they know why. They know their limits. They can kind of see where that limit is and not cross that line with the car. They want to drive to the car's capabilities. They want to drive to their own capabilities. And up here gives us a chance to show them that and where and how much and what the car's going to do. If you do start getting a little bit ahead of it with your capabilities, maybe too much speed into a corner, then they learn how to correct that, and that could save a lot of issues on the street when they're out performing their everyday duties. If they're running lights and siren to a call, they know that they can't corner this fast, and they know they got to slow down enough to make these kind of corners and turns, and that certainly helps them in the long run, especially when you start putting it to real life applications. They learn a lot on control, how to maneuver the vehicle, slow speed. A lot of things we do on the job is through parking lots, backing up, things like that. So they got to really start worrying about where that car is and how it maneuvers, because hitting something before you go to a call takes you out of the call.
Right.
That's an accident. We're not about ready to tell the folks, hey, sorry, we'll be back later. So that officer's out of the picture if it turns into an accident. So that's what our big focus is accident prevention and teaching them to drive defensively.
So the training doesn't stop when they're in the academy. I imagine once you become an agent, you continue to come up here and have lessons and learn new things and practice.
Yeah, every year we do our yearly in-service with our agents that are out on their own, or agents that are obviously graduated from the academy. We look at stats of accidents involving agents and kind of why or what's causing those. A lot of our accidents over the years have been backing related, and that's either just, with the different vehicles that police cars have become, from back when they were the big Chevy Caprices to the smaller SUVs now to the Tauruses, things like that. There's a lot of changes that have happened, and us as a driving staff will try to come up with some scenarios or some maneuvers that will work on correcting or training and teaching our agents better control of those.
Well, that's incredible. So I would think maybe you just come up here and you floor it around and kind of have a good time, right?
Right.
But really, there's a method to the madness, and that's cool to hear that you look at that data, you become aware of it, and you try to improve off of that and find where are we, what are our pain points, how can we correct them.
Right, and our in-services usually have some slow speed stuff along with some higher speed stuff. With the track availability, you hate to give up this road course and not drive, and get up some speed and start working on some of that too, because our everyday job, we don't get to run lights and siren every day. So those may be rare occasions, but you certainly want to be prepared for them when they come along.
So that's a great segue into my next question. When do you run lights and sirens?
We, as a standard operating procedure, we don't have a list of these you will run lights and siren to and these you do not. It's a real discretion part. Injury accidents, fights where there could be injuries, weapons calls. An officer needs help. That's probably the one that, without a doubt. And a lot goes into traffic conditions and where you are, like I said before, the location. 3 in the afternoon, you're probably going to run lights and siren more than you would at 3 in the morning, just because of traffic and the volume that we that we see every day.
And I picked up on something, you said safety of the officer and safety of the driving public as well. You want to make sure that, maneuvering in and out of traffic, everybody's as safe as possible.
Right, and that's what the training up here does, is it teaches our officers when you are running lights and siren, the do's and don'ts.
So if you're in the public and you see a police agent drive by, lights and sirens, and then they turn them off but are still going, could that be the call got canceled, or they're within a certain area that they feel safe to turn them off?
You bet. It could be both. It could be that they're running lights and siren up to an intersection and they get called off. Well, the public or that intersection already knows they're coming. So it's almost safer to run through that intersection safely with lights and siren, and then you can shut down on the other side. Because if you shut down on the approach and everybody saw you coming, now nobody knows what to do.
Well, listen, this has been really informative, and I appreciate all that you and the men and women do to keep our community safe. And I guess now it's time to ask if maybe you can show me a little bit about what it's like to go through this type of training.
Oh, absolutely. We will certainly take you out. One of the things that we always teach the recruits is steering. And we try to teach them what we call shuffle steering. So you have your hands at 10 and 2, 9 and 3 roughly. 10 and 2 works because 9 and 3 doesn't, because of all the controls on the steering wheels now.
Okay.
And we never want to see their hands cross over 12 and 6.
So you're
right. So you're exactly. And what we teach them is, if you're making a left turn, take your left hand to the top to 12, grab and pull, sliding your right hand under. So as you turn, turn, stop. Now slide your hand back up and back down and continue to turn. So you're never crossing over.
You're never crossing. You always want 2 hands on the wheel.
You always like to have 2 hands on the wheel.
Okay.
And there's a lot of reasons for this. The big one is the airbag. If you get into a crash in your hand, so if you were to cross over and that airbag goes off, you have now just hit yourself right in the nose. And that has caused more injuries.
Interesting.
That way. Yeah, so whenever you're comfortable, we'll go ahead and pull out and just make a left onto the track. And remember, always stay in your lane. That's the other thing we teach, especially, but use all of your lane. We teach them, you can be amazed how much you can cut down your turning maneuvers. So as you come along here, as you come out of this corner, go out to the white line.
Right.
Now when you come up to this corner here, you want to aim for the dotted yellow and get right on it and then come out to the white. Kind of like try to split that curve a little bit. So these are our S curves. They're back and forth. When you get some speed going, they can be a lot of maneuvering, a lot of hustle with your hands to keep that wheel moving.
For the folks at home, we're going 20. And I can't imagine going double.
And the key is when you get out of that kind of the middle part of the curve is to accelerate, is to get on it and use your straightaways and brake before your corners. So when you feel it start slowing, then start giving it some gas, because you're rubbing that, what we call the apex, the center part of the curve. And when you get to the second half of that apex, then you can certainly accelerate out.
Well, we're full lights, no sirens, and they're not stopping.
But we by far run lights and siren more than we chase people. Yeah. And that is really for the community, for us.
Public safety and
exactly.
Officer safety.
If we're running lights and siren, there's a reason for it. That somebody needs us now. And that's the reason we do that. Like I said before, whether it's an injury accident or even fire calls, we'll run code to lights and siren to, because we're first there. We will always be first there. If we have the possibility of certainly saving somebody or making their day a little better, then we're all in for that. Yeah.
All right, Agent Countryman, well, that was fantastic. What a great experience. And while I was able to do that in slow motion, it really shows how much goes into this job with everything in this office, tight space. And for you, you're wearing a vest, a duty belt, all that stuff. So lot to remember, a lot to do while you're behind the wheel.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. But you did well.
I hope you enjoyed this segment of Spotlight on Lakewood. I want to thank Senior Agent Countryman for having us out today. I also want to thank the men and women of the Lakewood Police Department for all that they do to ensure that we live in a great, safe community. Check us out on Facebook and Twitter. And remember, when you see lights and sirens or you see an emergency vehicle coming your way, safely get to the right or find a way to yield so that they can get by and everybody stays safe.